Here's some techniques you can do at home in your living room if you don't have a partner and you don't have a large space. This is called the four corners drill. Pat takes one hand off the ground and one foot off the ground, puts his foot where his hand was, and turns into the similar position, only with his stomach facing the ceiling. Now he takes his other foot and other hand off the ground and puts them in their respective positions. He alternates placing a foot where his hand was, and vice versa. Notice he goes both directions. You can do this slow or with speed. This is great for strength, balance, and coordination. Here we'll demonstrate the wrestler's switch and kick over. Later on we'll show how this can be used effectively in a live action situation. Patrick has his weight on his hands and feet. He kicks his foot through and brings the opposite side arm up hard while his head looks up towards the ceiling. He now kicks his other foot over the top, which would effectively allow him to take his opponent's back. He'll now demonstrate this a few more times. We'll now be demonstrating the stand and base technique, which is used in a variety of situations. Patrick puts his weight on his foot and his opposite side hand. He picks his weight up on his foot and hand, brings his foot through behind him without allowing it to touch the ground until he gets behind him. Then he brings it back. Now he switches legs, switches hands, and repeats the technique. Notice Patrick's always looking forward the entire time he does this. This is so he doesn't have to take his eyes off his opponent when he's standing up. We'll now be demonstrating the isometric version of this technique. This is done very slowly with a lot of control. Very similar situation. Patrick balances himself on his foot and hand, extends his foot straight out in front of him. Now he slowly brings it underneath his body and kicks it out directly behind him. Straightens his leg and brings it back through again without allowing that foot to touch the ground. And again, straightening the leg out. Only now does he put his weight down and allow the switch to happen. Leg straight out. Slowly and controlled, brings his weight, brings his foot through, extends, pause, bring it back underneath, straighten, and switch again. Continuing with techniques you can do at home by yourself, these are called triangle leg lifts. This will help you practice your triangle choke technique while at the same time getting a great core and stomach workout. Pat lies on his back, he brings his lower back up off the ground, brings his legs to one side, triangles his legs. Notice how he keeps his foot pointed up while it tucks underneath his leg. You can do this slowly, or you can pick up the speed, alternating sides. This technique, like many techniques, is great for building the muscle memory you need to put on a triangle choke or another submission technique without even thinking about it. You want it to be able to happen instantly. And the only way that can happen is by drilling these techniques over and over again so that they happen without even thinking about it. Next we'll demonstrate the Brazilian dance. This is an excellent cardiovascular workout. Take your time at first because it can be tricky. Patrick will demonstrate it now. Notice it's a very similar motion to the four corners drill, the stand and base drill. They're very similar, but with slight variations on each. This is a variation of the triangle drill that we just practiced. This is the arm lock drill, very similar. Patrick's on his back again. He brings his weight up onto his shoulders, legs together, and twists like he's putting an arm lock on. And the other side. Notice how he not only turns his legs, he turns his hips as well. Here's a good warm-up technique to help you warm up your lower body, and it's also an effective move in live action jiu-jitsu matches. Patrick tucks his one leg underneath, puts his other leg in front. He now comes forward onto his shin that he tucked underneath. That's how Pat brings his hips forward. Gives you a good stretch through your hamstrings and your groin. Here's a hip escape that you can do at home in place. Patrick gets into the standard hip escape position. He escapes his hips. Now he digs his right heel into the ground and pulls himself back to his starting position. He alternates, dig the heel in, and pull yourself back. This next technique you can do at home is called the Spiderman Pushup. This is stand and base drill followed by a push-up with your legs in a different position than a standard push-up. Patrick does a stand and base move. Now he puts his hand right by his foot that's planted and does a push-up. And back to the start, alternate. This next technique is a backwards roll followed by a frog jump. Again, you can do this in a confined space. Patrick does the standard backward roll, plants his hands in front of him, jumps his feet up, and does a backwards roll. Alternating the shoulder that he rolls over every time he does it.